My wife Janet and I were together for a total of 6 years. We met in college and things were always great. I loved her very much and she loved me. We got married and I took a position in the big city, in the state we are from. She found a job helping to run a daycare and was thrilled. She loved children and everything that came with the job. It was her true calling and she was thrilled to have the opportunity. She was beautiful both inside and out and was the only girlfriend I have ever had. A little over a year ago, she was involved in a car wreck with a drunk driver and was ended. I was devastated. Her family was devastated. My family was devastated. It was just a terrible time in my life. We had just bought a house together and I was all alone. Around the time we moved, her younger cousin started college in that same city where we lived. My wife and her cousin Riley were very close, and she was one of the bridesmaids at our wedding. I have always enjoyed her company as well. I met her when she was, I think, 16 and I was about 22 or 23. We instantly clicked like we were old friends. I don't know if that says more about me and my maturity at the time, but we have always gotten along great. Over the years, Riley would visit us, we'd all hang out and have a blast. In those visits, my wife would make jokes about how similar Riley and I were. We shared the same sense of humor, shared the same interests, and watched the same shows. My wife even made jokes about how if she died, I should start dating Riley. She wasn't serious, and it was funny because hell, I'm 7 years older than her, and I truly loved my wife. After my wife passed away, I started hanging out with Riley a lot more because she was the only family I had near me at the time. We grieved together, and our friendship has grown so much over this past year. She is always welcome in my house. She has a key, and we have been able to support one another emotionally. We were there for each other with my wife's death, and I was there when she broke up with her boyfriend. She has really become my best friend in this time, and I hers. About a month ago, I got a call from Riley asking if I could pick her up from a party. So I, of course, obliged and went to pick her up. I love my wife so much, and I haven't really looked at other women since she passed, let alone her own cousin. But when I pulled up and she stepped out of the house, I looked at Riley and thought, damn, she looked gorgeous. Now I will tell you that there isn't an ugly girl in that entire family. My wife was beautiful. Tall blonde hair, big, bright brown eyes, huge smile, long, spicy legs, and a great booty. And Riley is just as pretty. Auburn hair, blue eyes, petite, and top-heavy. It was apparent from a young age that Riley was going to be a knockout when she got older. This was the first time in a long time that I saw any woman in that light. It's hard to describe the feeling I got. It was a weird mixture of attraction, guilt, and butterflies. That's the best way I can put it. The first word out of my mouth was, wow, when she got in the car. She laughed and thanked me for picking her up. She asked if she could crash at my house because it was closer and she was exhausted and a little tipsy. She has slept there before the guest bed is practically hers. We got back to the house, and before I went to bed, she gave me a big hug and a kiss on the mouth cheek area. She caught both, I don't know what that means, and said, "Thank you so much, I love you." Giggled, gave me a look I haven't seen since my wife, and went into the spare bedroom. I went into my bedroom, got into bed, and looked up at the ceiling, stunned for hours. Every feeling that you can feel went through my head at that time. Sadness, anger, happiness, guilt, horniness, laughter. I have never been so confused in my life. Over the next few weeks, I noticed how flirty she was with me. I don't know if this has been going on for a while, but when I think back on it, I guess it has. She makes contact with me when she talks. She giggles at everything I say. She hugs me a lot. We go out to dinner, just the two of us, and one night we were watching a movie on Netflix and she fell asleep in my lap. That same night, she was telling me about how this one guy keeps hitting on her, but she has her sights set on another guy that she isn't sure likes her back. Am I that guy? It's been so long since I have dated anyone, so I'm rusty on picking up signs. Then again, my wife always told me I was completely oblivious whenever a woman would hit on me, so I might be looking too much into this. But it almost feels like I'm dating her without realizing it. Am I reading this wrong? I am pretty illiterate when it comes to women. And I don't know if I am projecting my own desires onto her behavior. If I'm wrong, I don't want to ruin our friendship. Because honestly, our relationship is one of the best things I have going on right now. But if I am right, where does this all go? There could be so many more issues if we made it official and started to date. I want to move on, and my wife would want that too, but I'm not sure if it should be with my deceased wife's cousin. She was in our wedding, for Christ's sake. I know her family already. We get along well enough, but I haven't seen them for months due to my wife's passing. What would they think? What would my family think? Is it weird? She's so much younger than me, and we are at completely different spots in life. Would it even work out? If she shares these feelings, does she feel guilty? Should I feel guilty? Does it seem like I'm cheating on my wife with her cousin? My mind is all over the place, and I don't know what to do. Update. I'm going to talk things out with Riley. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Probably this weekend. I need to know where she stands and where I stand with her. I'm not going to lay it all on the line and put all the pressure on her to respond. But I do plan on opening up a dialogue about where I am in my life, where she is in hers. And if and when I'm ready to date anyone, I expect the talk to go. Well, regardless of what the outcome happens to be. I'm still nervous, though. I feel like this is the most proactive and productive way to move forward in my life. I would still appreciate any and all insight from you. Awesome people, so that I might reflect on it before our talk. Thanks for all the help, Reddit. Update 1. This is going to be a long update. Bear with me, guys. Okay, so it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I took the advice of everyone and really sat down and thought about what I wanted. Do I just want a new relationship, or do I want a new relationship with Riley? I came to the conclusion that I just didn't know if I could tell the difference between the two at the time. What I did know is that I didn't know, if that makes sense to anyone. On the one hand, I'm ready to move forward with my life, and I want to be happy again. But on the other hand is that feeling of wanting to move on. Just me projecting my wants onto Riley? Or is my growing relationship with Riley what is making me want to move on? The weekend after I made my post, I had some friends over, Riley included, and we had a fun night of college football and Cards Against Humanity. The whole night Riley was by my side, and at one point later in the evening when everyone was getting tired, she rested her head on my shoulder. I got the weird butterfly feeling in my stomach again. Everyone eventually left except for Riley, who stayed longer to hang out a bit more and help clean up. We ended up talking for a while about everything and nothing. And eventually the topic of the night I picked her up from that party came up. I mentioned how she looked gorgeous and how every guy there must have been all over her. She told me how they were just horny boys, then joked about the situation, saying that she just shooed them all away if they tried to flirt with her. That's when I asked her, "Riley, have you been flirting with me the last few months?" I know, great segue. She looked taken aback and a bit surprised and gave me a half-hearted response of, "What?" Almost like I caught her in the act of doing something wrong. I pressed further, and she eventually admitted that she had indeed been flirting with me and that she had started to develop feelings for me. We proceeded to have a very open discussion about our relationship, our feelings, and our concerns. I told her that I don't know what I want right now, but I'm ready to be happy again. I explained how confused I was about the entire thing. I told her my concerns over jumping into a relationship with her, specifically because of her age and her relationship to my wife. Then I got to hear her point of view. I found out she always thought I was cute, ever since I met her when she was 16. But there was never an attraction to me, because I was dating her cousin and I was so much older. Over the course of this past year and some change, she has grown to enjoy my company quite a bit, and has gone through the same confused emotions that I spoke about in my last post in regards to my wife, her cousin. She gave it a lot of thought and came to the conclusion that Janet would want me happy and she would want me with someone she trusted to take care of me. She wasn't sure if I was ready to move forward with anything, so she started flirting innocently with me a few months ago to test the waters. I was oblivious. She continued to flirt with me until that night I picked her up. With her inhibitions lowered, she threw caution to the wind and made a move with the kiss. She told me that she couldn't sleep that night due to excitement, embarrassment, and wondering if I got the hint. I told her I finally got it loud and clear, and she laughed at that. I reiterated that I was still confused about everything and that I needed some time to come to grips with my emotions before I could do anything else. She completely understood and told me that she would respect my decision, whatever it may be. I didn't see Riley the next week due to her classes and her respecting the fact that I needed some space to think some stuff out on my own. We did text, but it was nothing of any real importance. Just plans for the coming weekend? I mentioned in the last thread that her 21st birthday was coming up, and it happened to be this weekend. The 12th to be specific. Riley being the low-maintenance girl that she has just wanted to have a barbecue with her friends. We had it at my house because I had already promised her weeks ago under the guidelines of no drinking and driving by anyone who came. Her friends showed up. Some of my friends showed up, and her parents even came down to celebrate. It was pretty neat seeing them because I haven't seen them in a while, and I always got along great with her father. We have the same sense of humor, and it's the same sense of humor that Riley has too. I always enjoyed going over to my wife's family's events when he was there because he was someone I could relate to and talk to without feeling too uncomfortable. After a while, all the youngins were in my backyard having a good time playing beer pong and cornhole, so I sat down with Riley's father to have a beer and chat to see how things were going. There was a bunch of small talk, and he asked how Riley was doing in the city because he knows we hang out a lot. I told him she was staying out of trouble, doing well in school, and an all-around joy to have his company. Then he asked how Riley and I were doing. This puzzled me. Welp, apparently Riley had sought the advice of her parents in this whole thing. She has a great relationship with them. So I'm not surprised she asked for some advice, but I was surprised that she spoke with them about me specifically, instead of using hypotheticals. What followed was a very good in-depth conversation with her father. It turns out that they like me a lot and don't care one way or the other. They basically told Riley to do what she felt was right, and they'd support her either way. They know me and they know how well I treated their niece. They had voiced their two obvious concerns, age and my wife being her cousin, but said that I was a good guy and she could do a lot worse. If it was something that we both wanted, then they would support it. The gist of what he told me was, stop worrying about what everyone else thinks and just be happy. You've been through a lot, probably more than anyone your age should go through, but you deserve to be happy too. If you are worried about what I or her mother think, don't be, because honestly, we just want our daughter to be happy. If you make her happy, then we support it. After that conversation, it was like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I didn't realize how much anxiety I had over her family's approval, but it was apparently quite substantial. Probably the thing that was weighing on me the most, and I didn't even realize it. I thanked her father. They said their goodbyes to Riley and left soon after. I can honestly say that I had a great time the rest of the party. Riley, of course, enjoyed her 21st birthday, like anyone would. She didn't drink to excess, but was definitely drunk. I let what seemed like a good half of the party spend the night just so they wouldn't drive, Riley included. Around 1 a.m, I carried her up the stairs into the spare bedroom, but it was occupied by my buddy. So I took her to my room and put her to sleep. I went downstairs and hung out with the other remaining night owls until I fell asleep on the couch around 3. I woke up Saturday around noon to the smell of bacon. Riley was cooking breakfast for the couple people that were still there. Apparently, many of them woke up early to go tailgate for their school's football game. I am not 21 anymore. I cannot do that. After the night we just had. When I walked into the kitchen, Riley gave me a big lingering hug and thanked me for everything. After breakfast, the remaining people that were still there left to try to get some tailgating in before the game as well. I went around the house looking for stuff to clean, but apparently Riley had gotten to it this morning with her friends as a sort of, thank you for allowing the party to happen. Riley is a sweetheart. The rest of the afternoon was Riley and I hanging out watching TV on my couch together. Eventually, I found the balls to bring up the topic we had discussed from the week before. I laid it all out. Right then, I told her, I think I know what I want now. I want to be happy again. I don't know if I'm ready to jump in head first, but I can tell you that I sure as hell enjoy your company, and you are the person that makes me the happiest. So if you are willing to take things slowly, I would like to give it a try. She had the biggest grin on her face, and she leapt forward and gave me a big hug. When I embraced her in return, I had the same feeling in my gut from the week before. I felt dizzy in a good way, and I didn't want to let go of her. We cuddled, something I haven't done in over a year. Christ, did I miss it. And watched TV the rest of the night. We ate Mexican for dinner, and that night before I went to bed, she gave me a kiss on the cheek. She respected my boundaries and volunteered to sleep in the guest room. Sunday was spent watching football, cuddling, playing with my dog, and a dinner that Riley made. I never really realized how much I missed the intimacy of contact with someone until Riley started to cuddle up on me this weekend. When she laid her legs over mine on the couch, I damn near fainted from the excitement. I forgot what it felt like when someone you have a thing for cuddles up next to you. It might be kind of sad to admit, but it was a real head rush. So, yeah, I'm not as melancholy as I was with my original post. And I think I'm doing a lot better now. We are going to take things slowly in regards to the physical aspect of things. So, right now, it's strictly PG with hand-holding or things of that nature. We aren't broadcasting it out there for everyone to see, but if they ask, we will be honest. I'm at work right now and will do my best to answer any questions you guys might have as quickly as I can. Thanks for all the help, Reddit. I did not expect this kind of reaction. Thanks, guys. And thanks for the gold. I'll try to remember an update in a few months. I'm upvoting everything that gets posted in here just because I appreciate all the support. You guys rock. Final update. I fought the urge to say something along the lines of, "We're pregnant" or "We're getting married," because that joke gets used too much around here on these updates. But the truth is, pretty boring. We broke up. Things were just too difficult, the age gap, the stress of the families, and on top of all of that, she cheated on me. I found out when I saw the positive pregnancy test fall out of her kitchen trash after my dog knocked it over. We hadn't had intimacy yet. Okay, yeah, I'm lying. We're still very much together. Things are great, and this update is boring. I wish I had something more exciting for you guys, but I think the rom-com is over, the credits have rolled, and the characters are now living their normal day-to-day lives. She lives relatively close to my work, so we've been having a lot of lunch dates. Sometimes out for food. Sometimes she brings it. Sometimes I do. It's really nice. Things are great, and we haven't had any real issues. One piece of advice I have received from people has been, don't compare Riley to Janet. It's not fair to either of us if I do it. So I've done my best to stay away from those thoughts. For the most part, it has worked. Every once in a while, I'll be in a situation with Riley that hits me with nostalgia about Janet. But I just try to keep those thoughts to myself and deal with them as they come. Riley can tell when it happens. She always asks if I'm okay, and I say, "Yeah, just give me a moment." I sort it out in my head and tell her when I'm good. First time it happened was when I heard her say, "Irregardless," for the first time, Janet would say it too. And I'd tell her it wasn't a word every time she said it. But those moments are few and far between, so they don't put much of a strain on us. It took a few weeks, but we eventually elevated the relationship to the next level. I guess I'm going to call it. I don't know how to say it without sounding crass, but you get what I'm saying. I thought it might take longer for me to be comfortable enough to go forward with it. But I could only handle so many days of seeing her in yoga pants before I was ready to explode. And it was good. It was very, very good. It's one of those things I want to go into great detail about because I'm so excited for myself, but it would probably come off as boastful and inappropriate. So I'll just say that we are very compatible in that area, and she makes me very happy. Thanksgiving has come and gone. That was fun and slightly awkward. My parents had already been introduced to Riley, the cousin bridesmaid, but it was a little different introducing them to Riley, the girlfriend. My parents were just as hesitant as I was at first due to the possible fallout with her family. But once I told them how her parents were fine with it, they seemed relieved and welcomed Riley in with open arms. An awkward drunk uncle moment happened. Everyone has one. In which my uncle complimented Riley on how pretty she was, and then said something along the lines of, "I mean, you're not a bad-looking guy, but damn. Where are you getting these women? You have some catalog you can order from?" Yeah. My aunt shut him up pretty quickly. He later apologized. I wasn't offended. Riley wasn't either, but it was still pretty awkward. We swung by Riley's family's dinner as well because that's a benefit of having the two families live in the same area. 2 dinners, they were just as fun and welcoming as I remembered. No drama there. Not only are they all good-looking, but they all cook the best food in the world. I'm looking forward to more meals with her family. Christmas is coming up, so she will be on break from school for a while. I'll have a few days off of work, and we'll be able to spend a lot of time together. We have a good thing going, and I'm excited to see where things go. She is too. Also, any good ideas for Christmas gifts? I'm terrible at that stuff.